Hey everybody, I wanted to take you through some of the super basic skills you're going to need for using the camera for the first time. Just taking you through, we're not going to get into too much detail in the capabilities of the camera. We're going to get into that very slowly because it is a little overwhelming at first when you try to use a camera that has so many options. So I just want to take you through the very basic parts of the camera that you're going to need to know and how to look through the viewfinder and check out your photos. So we're going to be using a pretty expensive camera. It's a Canon Rebel T6, and it's about a $600 to $700 camera. And the reason we're using such a nice camera is our photos are going to be what's called a high resolution, which means there's a lot of information in every single picture. So you can get pretty detailed with how you work with the pictures and manipulate them in Photoshop. And especially in natural settings, we'll be able to take pictures that end up being really beautiful because they can capture a ton of information in a single photo. So they're a very nice camera. When you go to work with the camera, there's a couple safety things you always want to do. One is you'll notice you're going to want to hold it kind of with this grip here so that you can take a picture. There's the button right there. But I also always have my hands supporting the lens. And there's two reasons. One is that I can actually focus my lens if I want to take a picture, but also this grip steadies me so that I'm not shaking. If you're shaking while you take a photo, you get a blurry photo and you can't tell what the image is. The other thing I'll always do is I will always put the strap around my neck. The reason for that is especially when we're out in nature, if maybe you're standing up and you catch a tree branch and your camera gets knocked out of your hand, it's not going to hit the ground. I've had this happen to me personally. And then I've broke my lens, and that's a $150 repair right there. So you always want to use the safety grip of it's kind of close to you and you're supporting it in two spots, as well as always the strap is around your neck. In terms of you getting started, you're always going to want to put your battery into the camera, and you're going to always need an SD card. An SD card is how you capture photos. It's where all the information is stored. So it's kind of like the film in a film camera, only now it's digital. So this keeps all of your pictures for you. It is not waterproof, so you want to be very careful to not take this out in a place that's wet. If these kind of golden parts of the back of the SD card get wet, it will corrupt every single photo and you won't be able to get your photos back. So these are pretty fragile. You want to be careful with them. When you go to get started, you'll always grab your battery from the battery charger that's assigned to you. They're in the classroom. You grab it. You take it in and out every single time because the camera will suck the life of the battery. So we want to take it in and out in between taking photos. But all you do is you pull this little tab towards yourself, and then you're going to take it, and with the gold parts facing down, you're going to put it right into the camera. And then you'll hear a little click, and the lever will kind of keep it in place. You want to do the exact same thing with the SD card. Take the part, and you'll know that it fits in because it'll go in really smoothly. Press it, you'll hear a little click, and then go ahead and shut that little door, and you're all set to go. When you're done with the camera, take the battery out. You do not have to take the SD card out. That doesn't suck any battery life from the camera. So once I have the battery in, I have the SD card in. Whenever I want to turn the camera on, you see the on-off button here. All you have to do is push it up, and you'll see that options kind of show up. That's how you know your camera is on. At the very top of the camera is a wheel. These are all the different types of settings. Just to start, we're going to start with the Scene Intelligent Auto Mode. So basically what that means is the camera is going to be making every single decision for you. Sometimes that's a good thing, especially when you're new. Sometimes we'll want to take a picture that we know would look cool, but the camera's going to go, oh, no, I don't think you can do that. So it will sometimes make choices for us that we don't like. So as we get better, we're going to start getting more and more freedom with what we do with the camera. But we'll keep it on the green one, which is the auto mode. Right here is the button for taking a picture. And then on the back, you're going to see there's tons and tons of buttons for things you can do. Again, we will get into this as we get more used to the camera, but the big one we're going to want to know about is this little play button. This is going to let us see the picture we just took. So I'll kind of take you through that. The other thing that you may want to think about is how you want to see the picture. Most professional photographers use the viewfinder because it allows them to kind of get up close to the picture, but also when you put your eye here, It's very close to your face, and so the camera's really steady. So you get a very nice steady shot. Some people do prefer to use the viewfinder. So if you want to use the viewfinder, all you have to do is hit this little button and it'll switch from here to here, which I can show you. Before I do that though, you always want to take your lens cap off. Otherwise, all you're going to see is kind of a dark picture. The lens cap can go in your camera bag or it can go in your pocket, but you don't want to lose it because you want to be able to put it back on the camera when you're done. You also do not want to touch the glass on the lens. Once you get fingerprints on your lens, it is almost impossible to get them off, and they will show up in your photos in kind of a pixely, smudgy kind of way, which isn't great. So make sure that you don't touch the lens. Now, let's say I want to take a picture. I put it on my auto mode. I could look through the viewfinder, and to take a picture, I push this button in the front. If I push it halfway down, it's going to start to focus, and it's trying to put the flash on because where I am is really dark. So it's sort of saying, oh, you need the flash. Let's try to get the picture. I also could use my lens manually to focus the picture. I can do the very top part to kind of get it in focus. And I also can grab the front part and kind of manually focus as well. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do. But once I have a picture I like, I hold down the button. It'll take a picture for me. It shows up very briefly, but you can see then it goes away. So to bring the photo back, I just hit that plus button. Now the other thing is, say I don't want to use that viewfinder like I talked about. You can hit this button here, and now it's switched so that what's in front of the lens is showing up on the back of my viewfinder. Again, it's sort of a preference thing. Most photographers use this because then they want to make choices here on the camera. So that's essentially it for where we're going to start. You've got your lens, you know how to hold it, you know how to take a picture. You'll notice the flash is showing up. Most photographers don't ever want to use flash because it flattens colors. Because I'm inside in a super dark spot, my photos would not show up. And I'm also on that scene auto mode, so the camera is just making choices for me. So this may happen to you the first time you use the camera, but eventually we'll get into the type of settings where we'll choose if we want flash or not. Okay, I'll go ahead and pop that down. So say I took my pictures, I peeked at them, I'm happy. Then when I'm all done, I'll turn my camera off. I will replace the lens cap every single time, and then I will always take out the battery and recharge it. One of the worst things is when we go on a field trip. I just push this in to pull it out. You go on a field trip and then your battery is dead and you can't take any photos, and usually we don't have access to electricity. So you want to make sure to take that out, recharge it so it's fresh for the next day. Notice I'm leaving my SD card in. It can totally stay in there. It doesn't affect anything. So that's essentially it.